You might ask the question, Fuller, you're talking this stuff. Is this really true? Or are you just you got some kind of personal hang-up about something or something? I mean, why are you harping on this? I'm harping on it because I think that the white supremacists are definitely harping on it, either directly or indirectly. Look in the Washington Post this morning. Draw your own conclusions based on what I started saying in 1972. The feminization of black males is one day going to be full tilt. Black males are going to all grow up, starting with just the ornaments and whatnot, little small things that people didn't pay any attention to, because I started paying attention to it many years ago. I said, wait a minute, where does this earring thing come from? That's usually associated with females, not that people in ancient times. I mean, Indian tribes and whatnot, they had all kind of ornaments on, but that didn't have anything to do with their masculinity. But see, it's not so much what is on the surface, it's what the purpose of it is. And in what you call Western culture, for a long time, lipstick and, facial paint in what you call the white culture was usually associated with feminization. So back about maybe 40 years ago, they started, and it took on and took root. A lot of white people were doing it, and then they kind of drew back from it a little bit, the earpieces. But black people, if you notice, are still wearing the earpieces, even though a lot of white males have discarded the earpieces, even though they started it back in the 1960s and 70s, all right? And then the long hair thing was a white thing, okay? But now they've gotten the black males, sitting in front of that mirror, and hair worship is now taking up a whole lot of mental space. Hey, I got to get my braids are not long enough. They only come down to my shoulders. I got to catch up. So now they come down to below your waist, and then they'll be dragging the ground. Then I don't know where it's going to go from there. But this is all a part of this piece by piece stealth. Then the high heels, like they started that off in the 1970s with the tight pants with no pockets and the high heels. Well, that went for a little while, but a lot of black males didn't like that because a lot of black males are engaged in things like robbery, all right? So, hey, when the sneakers came in, they grabbed that right away because you can run in sneakers. You can't run in high heels, those big cloppy high heels that they had in the 1970s in the Northwestern Hemisphere, the SuperFly look. You can't be a very good bus station robber in that type of garb. You can't hide your stuff. If you pick somebody's pocket or rob somebody, you ain't got nowhere to put your stuff. Because those flare pants with the bell bottoms, they didn't have any pockets. Whatever you stick in your pocket, you ain't going to be able to hide it. Plus, you couldn't hide one of your main things, that 9mm pistol. There was nowhere to put it. It just didn't go with the garb. So the white supremacists, they said, hey, this is not going to work on black people. We thought it would. But they discarded that. Okay. So we'll just change the style. So now, right after that, what happened? The balloon pants. That made it easier. We bought that right away. Why? You can hide 2 or 3 guns in those pants that bulge out a lot. A lot of people may not remember it, but the balloon pants, the pants with the real big legs that flared out. Looked like balloons for a while. Okay. So that got us back on track. Mm-hmm. But I hope I'm not digressing too much.
No.
But I'm saying this is all being orchestrated, not by us, the victims, but by whom? The usual suspects. Be suspicious of anything that just comes out of nowhere. And all of a sudden, black people just grab hold to it because we're so desperate to be noticed. We're so desperate to do something different because our situation calls for us to be different.
Yes, sir.
I mean, we need to be doing things that are different, but not just anything.
Yes, sir.
And the white supremacists have a plan. They say, hey, if you start letting black people think on their own, that's dangerous. We learned that from the slave runaways and all like that. That comes from thinking on your own. So we got to always guide their thinking and guide all of their customs and all of their habits. And, being a gangster and all like that, we got to control that and guide it and keep it so that it is what? Destructive.